Have you ever just laid in bed thinking about all those big what if questions? Like, lately I've been wondering, could you actually dream about your soulmate before you even meet them in real life?
It's a question that really gets to the core of who we are, right? Like
Yeah.
this deep human need to connect with someone and the whole world of dreams. It's so mysterious, isn't it?
Totally. And it's not just us thinking about this now. You look back through history, ancient cultures, they placed a lot of importance on dreams. It wasn't just random stuff your brain does, it was like a way to get real insights, even about who you might end up with.
Absolutely. They thought dreams could show you things about the future. And for them, that totally included relationships. Like think about ancient Egypt or even indigenous cultures, how they viewed dreams as having this huge significance.
Right. But then you've got science, and particularly when we look at what happens during REM sleep, things get a little more complex, don't they?
Definitely. Because that's when our brains are going a mile a minute. It's sorting through emotions, memories, and all those hidden desires we have can just play out in these crazy, vivid dream worlds. It's like our inner selves get to put on a show.
It's like our minds have their own stage. I love that. Okay, so we have all this history and science, but what about like the psychology of it all? What do we know about how our minds might be working when we dream?
Well, we can look at people like Carl Jung. He had some really interesting ideas about this. Have you ever heard of the collective unconscious?
Yeah, vaguely.
So he basically suggested that there's this kind of shared space within all of us, like a reservoir of universal symbols and what he called archetypes. These are like universal figures and themes that show up across different cultures and throughout history.
So like the hero
Mm,
or the wise old woman.
exactly. And Jung thought these archetypes were like these really deep, powerful representations of human experiences. So in the case of dreams about soulmates, it could be that these dreams are tapping into this shared human desire for connection and love, which is why they can feel so incredibly real. Like even if you don't recognize the specific person, it still hits you on this deeper level because it's hitting on a universal experience, right?
That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we have all this background on dreams and how we view them. But the real question is, can you actually dream about someone you haven't met yet?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right. And our sources for this deep dive lay out four main possibilities. And the first one has to do with something called subconscious pattern recognition.
Okay, so with this one, the idea is that your mind, without you even realizing it, is always noticing things you find attractive in other people. And this could be based on like your past relationships or even just people you've observed. Then, in your dreams, your mind takes all this information and sort of creates a picture of what your ideal partner might look like.
Like, our brains are piecing together a composite sketch of our perfect match, even if we don't even realize it.
Exactly, like some kind of internal algorithm, right? It's crazy.
Wild. So the second possibility focuses on emotional preparation. Basically, maybe these dreams aren't so much about showing us a specific person. Instead, it could be more about getting us emotionally ready for a big relationship.
Yeah, like a way for our subconscious to work through all those feelings of desire and that longing to be close to someone. So by doing this in our dreams, we might be more open and ready for that connection when the right person comes along.
It's like practice for the real thing.
Exactly, like an emotional dress rehearsal.
Hmm.
Okay, but then we move into the possibilities that are maybe a little less scientific. The third idea is all about spiritual connections. And some people believe that souls can connect on a level that goes beyond the physical world. Like dreams could be a space where that happens, even before you've met in real life.
So it's more like a destined connection. And the fourth possibility, well, this one gets into some pretty mind-bending territory, doesn't it?
It really does. This is about precognition, the idea that some dreams are actually giving us information from the future. So from this perspective, a dream about a soulmate might actually be a glimpse into your future, like you're seeing someone who will be part of your life later on.
It's a little trippy to think about. Okay, so we've got these four possibilities. But let's say you're listening, you're like, all right, this is all interesting, but how do I know if one of my dreams might be about my future partner?
It's a good question. And luckily, our sources give us 5 patterns to look for.
All right, so the first one, the one that jumps out to me, is recurring appearances. Like, have you ever dreamt about the same person over and over again? Or maybe it's not the exact same person, but they have very similar qualities.
Right, those are definitely the kinds of dreams that make you wonder. Because it feels like your subconscious is trying to tell you something when it keeps bringing up the same image or theme.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, what about the second pattern?
This one's all about emotional resonance. So think about the dreams that really stick with you, the ones that trigger strong emotions and leave you thinking about them long after you've woken up. A dream about a soulmate? That could definitely be one of those.
Yeah, it's not just some random image. It's like you actually feel something from it. Okay, the third pattern is clarity, which makes sense.
Yeah, so with this one, it's about whether the person in your dream felt unusually clear and vivid. Like you can remember their face in detail, almost as if you could reach out and touch them.
Almost like a real memory.
Got it.
Okay, what's the fourth pattern?
This one's a little harder to explain, but it's called recognition without identification. It's like you dream of someone you've never seen before in your waking life, but you have this overwhelming feeling of knowing them. Like you just sense this deep familiarity.
Oh, wow. That's strange. It's like that feeling of, I know you, but from where? Okay, and the last pattern has to do with the setting of the dream.
Right. So if you keep having these dreams about a potential soulmate, do they tend to happen in places that feel significant to you? Or maybe during a specific event or activity that feels meaningful? The backdrop of the dream can give you more clues.
It's almost like the setting itself is adding another layer of meaning. Okay, so let's say you've had a dream that really fits one or more of these patterns. What then? How do you figure out what it means?
Well, our sources talk about different dream interpretation techniques. And the first one, which is always a good starting point, is dream journaling.
Oh, yeah, it's a classic, like keeping a dream diary.
Exactly. And the key is to write down as much detail as you can. Don't just focus on what happened. What emotions were you feeling? Were there any symbols that stood out? And if you do this consistently, you might start to see recurring themes or patterns that can give you more insight.
So it's like you become a detective for your own dreams.
Huh.
I love that. All right, what's another technique?
There's symbolic analysis. Basically, this is where you look at different elements of your dream and try to figure out what they might represent. So, for instance, water often symbolizes emotions, and a bridge might symbolize a transition or a connection in your life.
Interesting. So you look up the different possible meanings and see what resonates with you.
Right, exactly. And it's not about finding some universal dream dictionary, but rather what those symbols mean to you.
It's about personalizing it. Okay, what else?
Meditation can be really helpful.
Yeah.
Like if you take some quiet time right after you wake up and kind of let your mind drift back to the dream, you might remember more details. Or you might just get a stronger sense of the overall feeling of the dream, which can lead to more insights.
And then there's guided imagery.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
I think so.
So it's basically when you intentionally try to go back into that dream state while you're awake, using visualization, it's like consciously stepping back into the dream world to see what else you might discover.
Okay, that sounds a little intense, but super interesting. Are there other ways people try to understand these kinds of dreams?
Well, our sources mentioned something called psychic drawings, which sounds pretty wild.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What are psychic drawings?
The idea is that there are some artists who believe they can tune into a person's energy or the impressions they get from their dreams, and then they try to create a visual representation of what they sense, almost like bringing the dream into the physical world through art.
Wow, so you're basically trying to see your dream person in real life?
Yeah, something like that.
Hmm.
And the process usually involves the artist going into a really receptive state, like through meditation, and then just letting their intuition guide them. They're not trying to draw something specific. It's more about capturing the feeling or the energy.
Okay, that's fascinating. So after the drawing's done, what happens?
Well, then they would typically discuss the drawing with the dreamer. Talking about the imagery, seeing what connections or meanings come up. And get this, some people have even reported seeing a resemblance between these drawings and people they meet later in their lives.
No way, really?
Yeah. But as the sources point out, it's really hard to prove or disprove something like that scientifically. It's more in the realm of personal experience and anecdotal evidence.
It's like where science meets art meets the mystery of dreams. So cool. Okay, so we've talked about all these different ways of interpreting dreams, but I'm curious, what about history? Have people always believed that you could dream of your soulmate?
Oh yeah, this belief has been around for centuries across so many different cultures. Like in ancient Egypt, they thought dreams were actual messages from the gods.
Wow, serious stuff.
Yeah, and dream interpreters were really important figures back then. So the idea of dreaming about a future spouse, that wouldn't have been strange to them at all.
It would have been totally normal.
Exactly. And in ancient Greece and Rome, dreams were often seen as visits from deities or spirits who could tell you about your future. And yeah, that totally included who you might end up marrying.
It was like built into their whole belief system.
Right. And even in Native American cultures, a lot of them had vision quests that involved dreams. And those dreams were thought to reveal a person's path in life, which sometimes included who they'd marry. It's so interesting how this idea pops up over and over in different cultures throughout history.
Yeah, it really makes you think, doesn't it? Like this deep human curiosity about love and
Yeah.
fate. It just seems to be something we've always wondered about.
Totally. And in a lot of Eastern philosophies, dreams are seen as a way to connect with other realities. So it's not a big leap to think that you can meet your soulmate in a dream even before you've met them in the real world.
It's like there's this whole other level of connection happening that we're not always aware of.
Yeah, it's definitely mind-blowing. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, a lot of really fascinating stuff. But I think it's important to also keep things in perspective, right?
Totally. Like, as amazing and mysterious as dreams are, we don't want to get carried away.
Right. We still need to use common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Healthy relationships, they're built on things like trust and communication and compatibility in real life.
Yeah.
You can't just base a relationship on a dream no matter how powerful it felt.
Right. Real life is still real life. So maybe it's more about using these dreams as a way to understand ourselves better. Like, what are we looking for in a partner? What are our deepest desires?
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And maybe they can make us a little more open to meeting someone special, recognizing a connection when it happened.
It's like they can guide us, but we still have to do the work.
Exactly.
Okay, so for our listeners who are really intrigued by all this, what are some practical things they can do?
Well, one thing they can do is really pay attention to the patterns in their own dreams. Like, keep that dream journal. Look for those recurring themes, especially about relationships.
And even if they don't have those super vivid soulmate dreams, just being more aware of what comes up in their dreams can still be super helpful.
Right, because our dreams can tell us a lot about what we're longing for, what we're afraid of, all that stuff. And another thing people could do is be more open to meeting different kinds of people, even if they don't perfectly match some dream image they have in their head.
Right, don't get too caught up in those specifics.
Exactly. Trust your gut feelings, but also, be realistic. And most importantly, focus on yourself, on growing and becoming the best version of you. That's the best foundation for any relationship.
Totally. And if someone's having a lot of really intense or confusing dreams, it might be worth talking to a professional dream interpreter. They can help make sense of it all.
That's a good point, because they have the training and experience to guide people through those really powerful dream experiences.
Awesome. Well, I think we've had a really great deep dive into the world of soulmates and dreams. It's a topic that just captures the imagination, doesn't it?
It really does. It's such a beautiful blend of mystery and psychology.
And maybe even a bit of magic. Because whether we believe in precognition or spiritual connections or just our brains working in mysterious ways, it's clear that there's something really powerful happening when we dream.
Absolutely. And even if we never know for sure if we can actually dream about our soulmate before we meet them, just exploring this possibility can make us more aware of the power of our dreams. And maybe, just maybe, it can make us a little more open to those serendipitous encounters in the real world.
I love that. So to wrap things up, I want to leave you all with a thought. Think about that interplay between destiny and choice. Like if your dreams could give you a glimpse of your future partner, what qualities would you hope to see in them? And, even more importantly, what qualities would you want to cultivate within yourself to be ready for that amazing connection? Because maybe it's not just about finding the right person, but about becoming the right person.
That's a great way to put it. It's about being open to the possibilities, working on ourselves, and trusting that the right connection will happen when the time is right.